Hello and welcome. I am Sai with Things Very Good, and this video is called Tips from a 36-Hour Fast. So I recently did a fast for 36 hours where I consumed no calories. I did consume some things that I learned could be beneficial during the fast, and so I want to share what I learned from this experience, what expectations I had going into it, and how it's affected my life since then. This is my second day off of the fast. Actually, let me think here for a second. If it is my second day, this might be my third day off of the fast. I'm not sure what it is right now. What I do know is that I've had 2 workouts since the fast, and because I did, I feel like I'm going to be able to give you more feedback than if I hadn't had those workouts, because I'm going to be able to share with you the experience that I had compared to my normal workouts. And also, I want to compare how this fast was compared to fasts that I have done in the past. So, my past was interesting in the sense that I used to do fasts every once in a while, and I thought of them as being a good thing, and this is a while back. And for a long time I really haven't done any kind of fast that's been for 24 hours or 36 hours because I thought from what I had learned from other people that it might be bad for me and it could damage or it could cause metabolic damage or something like that. So I think the verdict is still out there, but there are a lot of proven benefits of fasting. And from what I have learned and from what my thoughts are right now, I think that it could be a good thing, especially if you're doing something like a 24 to 36 hour fast. More than that, there could be other benefits too, but you're also getting in the zone of where there's more things that could go wrong, and there are also some other things to consider that you don't have to consider if you're just doing a 24 to 36 hour fast. So that's the kind of fast we're talking about. I'm going to tell you what I consumed during the fast, what kind of experience I had in the fast, and I want to tell you what also inspired me to do the fast. So let me go ahead and tell you what inspired me to do the fast first of all. So I have been in a long process of working on gaining back muscle and losing some fat that I have, and it's been something that's been going on for a while. Now, I've had some success with that, basically mostly from including some weight training and different types of exercise in my life in a more regular fashion, and I have had some success with it too, especially in getting stronger and actually gaining visible muscle. So that has not been the biggest struggle. And what has been the struggle is actually losing that extra fat. And there's a lot of reasons that I could come up with for maybe the reasons that I didn't lose as much of the fat as I wanted to. But I have always been learning more about that subject and kind of optimizing things as much as I am willing to take the time and effort to do that, so I can kind of really see what is preventing me from losing that fat. So I thought with some of the information that I learned recently that this could be a boost to that fat loss and kind of help me along that path. So one of the biggest things, the most inspiring things I learned about was something called autophagy. So autophagy, let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about autophagy. It is the breaking down of your body's cells by themselves and using the unusable parts of themselves for fuel to create new and effective parts of the cells. It's like a cleanup mechanism of the body that gets rid of all the junk and creates an environment that allows your body to work more efficiently again. So basically, your body is using itself as food to fuel itself, and at the same time, it's cleaning up all of these broken or dead parts of you and getting rid of them so that your body runs more effectively and does what it's supposed to do more effectively. So this is something that became very fascinating to me over the last week or so leading up to me doing this fast that really made me feel like, wow, I'm inspired to do this. And I want to include, just while I'm talking about it, I think if you're going to do a fast of any kind, you really need to be inspired. You don't want to feel forced into a fast. You've got to feel like, hey, this could be something that could be really beneficial for me. So that was one of the things that inspired me to go into the fast. Now, this is another interesting fact about autophagy. It's that while your body's cells are cleaning themselves up, your brain does function better. In addition, your liver burns fat more efficiently through enhancing lipolysis of what your liver does. So your liver basically does the same thing as the rest of your body's cells are. It goes into this state of autophagy, and that enhances lipolysis, making your body to burn fat better or more efficiently. It also improves insulin sensitivity, which makes your body utilize the nutrients you give it after the fast more effectively and in a more beneficial way. So this is another interesting fact. I have to refer to these notes because I'm going to stay in line and keep this shorter and more to the point if I do, but the process of autophagy is improved by 300% in a 24-hour or more fast, which means it's boosting your body's ability to burn fat and clean up your cells by 300%. Now, I find that fascinating. So all of these kind of things inspired me to go into the fast. And I want to just go ahead and give credit where credit is due really quick here, but I did learn a lot of the information that I'm sharing with you from Thomas DeLauer in other videos. So if you've listened to some of his videos, some of the stuff that I'm saying is going to sound similar to what he's saying because I learned a lot of it from him. I did watch a whole bunch of videos about fasting. I really wanted to know what I was getting into and if it was safe and if it was really going to be overall beneficial. So I'll tell you what I think about it, whether it's beneficial or not, after we get towards the end of this video. Let me just state also that fasting for more than 24 hours causes the body to produce more stem cells. And stem cells help to create new cells and are a mechanism for regeneration or reparation of parts of the body where they are needed. So fasting has a healing effect on your body through the process of autophagy and also through the generation of stem cells, which are able to reproduce themselves, and they are also able to create new cells where they are needed in places, for example, where you might have tissue damage or an injury. The stem cells can create new cells that can be used for that area. So it's pretty amazing just understanding this whole process. And so my family just walked in. I'm going to, they're going to be quiet for me, I think. Those are the main reasons that I was interested in doing this fast. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the details of what I had during the fast. And I think that this is going to be very helpful for you if you're going to do a fast yourself, because having these things made this fast incredibly easy for me. There was only one difficult part of the fast, which was 36 hours long. And I'll tell you the details about that in a minute. But I learned that apple cider vinegar helps your body in more than one way, but it produces something called acetic acid, which helps your body to uptake minerals better, but it also improves your blood sugar by having a stabilizing effect on your blood sugar, so you become less hungry where you're in a fasting state. So it helps your body assimilate minerals better in addition to balancing out the blood sugar. Now, I also learned from Thomas DeLauer that it's important to have a good balance of sodium to potassium. So I did have a half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt, which I put into a whole gallon of water and drank it over the course of the day. And in addition, I also added about 4 servings of this potassium, which is basically just potassium in liquid form. It's from Iodine Ionic Minerals. I'll leave a link in the description for you to find this if you want to find it. Some people use a different sort of potassium, but anyways, I used about 4 servings, which is close to 400 milligrams. Make sure I have that right. Yep, just about 400 milligrams or 120 drops of this to keep the potassium-sodium balance in the right place. And the reason for doing this is having a good balance of sodium and potassium helps create energy, which I thought was interesting, which makes you feel better during the fast through the regulation of the water and minerals going in and out of your cells. So, moving on to the next thing that I had. I had some green tea. I just had straight green tea that was organic, and I had that just knowing that it couldn't hurt me basically, and that it could be a way to have my mood good while I was in the fast. I think that it worked really well for that, by the way, and I know that it has no calories, so it doesn't interrupt the fasting process. The same with apple cider vinegar, has no calories, so those are things that you can have during the fast that are not going to disrupt the fast. In fact, I did have the apple cider vinegar 3 times during the fast, at the beginning of the fast, in the middle of the day, and at the end of the day. And I also did break the fast the next day with apple cider vinegar, and I also had apple cider vinegar the night before. And let me go ahead and look here at my notes again. Okay, so another beneficial reason that I had the green tea was because of the additional fat burning effects that it could have while I was on the fast, and also the polyphenol effect, or the antioxidant effect it has on your body, and the effect it has on reducing inflammation. So all of these things are reasons that I had it, but according to what I learned from Thomas DeLauer, caffeine promotes the release of norepinephrine, which is a key regulator of fatty acid released from fat cells and into the blood circulation to be burned for energy. So basically this kind of just enhances the ability of your body to use fat and also to feel good through the use of that fat as a source of energy during the fast. So to kind of wind this video up and give you the rest of the facts is, how did it go? First of all, I want to tell you that before I started the fast, I had the thoughts of, should I eat a lot or more than normal? And should I eat these special kinds of foods that might not be something I normally eat, that taste good or that are high in sugar, but that maybe don't leave me feeling good the next day? And I had made a decision not to. I decided I was just going to keep my healthy diet for that day, which I just ate a normal diet like I would normally for the whole day before the fast, and it was really consisted of all good things, and I felt good. I didn't overeat, I didn't undereat, I just ate what I normally ate, and I didn't want to feel full going into the fast, which I later found out was a good thing, because as your stomach shrinks, then you don't crave food as much. And so that turned out to be a good thing, but I just wanted to do it because I didn't want to feel bad going into the fast. That being said, having what I had during the fast, I felt unbelievably good for the whole day. I didn't feel weak. I did my normal routine. I didn't work out on that day because I didn't want to push my body during the fast. I wanted to just kind of do my normal thing, but not overdo it, so that I could kind of be resting and have the benefits of the fast without taking any chances that I might be doing some kind of damage while I wasn't eating food. So that being said, the whole day went really smooth, and there is more to that came in the nighttime, but I didn't have any feeling like I was missing out. My brain was in a good state. I had great creative energy. I felt good, and I felt like, yeah, this is working, this is doing what it's supposed to be doing. I felt like my body was using itself in a very mild way. Like I felt like I could feel my body using its stores of energy and using the process of autophagy to create more energy, and it felt good, and I felt very clear. And I noticed when I saw food, especially later in the day when I would see food, I would almost think, oh wow, get that, eat it. But then I think, oh yeah, I'm on a fast. So my body definitely was knowing that it was wanting food, and that food was good, and it seemed really good, better than normal. But I didn't feel, as soon as I realized, okay, yeah, I'm doing a fast again, I didn't feel like, oh, I have to have that. I felt like, oh, this is good, and I like this experience. So when I went to bed, I felt great. In fact, I felt so relaxed compared to other days when I laid down that it was really awesome. Like, it felt so relaxing and just good to lay down, and I went to sleep pretty quickly, no problems at all. Now, I think I woke up 2 times during the night, but the first time I woke up, I could feel my body using itself. This is where I really started to feel the effects of the autophagy. There were changes in my head, like my skin was taut, and like I could feel some intensity in my muscles, and I could feel literally like changes going on in my head. And that might be hard to understand unless you do a fast, but literally, like, if I didn't know it was a good thing, I might wonder about it, but because I knew it was a good thing, it felt good, and I was not worried about it. But it was just interesting. It's like noticing changes in your brain, noticing these changes in your body, and they felt really good to me. I went back to sleep, and then that's where the trouble happened. I woke up in the middle of the night, and my body felt like really tense, like almost like I had restless leg syndrome, which might have been partly due to the caffeine that I had. It also could have just been that my muscles were tense, but I didn't feel necessarily bad. I was still thinking this is a good thing, but I was thinking, oh no, I probably can't go to sleep. And I did feel tense in certain places, and I felt like, okay, wow, now I'm really starting to feel what it feels like to not have food. So after laying there for about 10 minutes or so, I realized I wasn't going to fall asleep just laying there. So I got up, I meditated, and that helped a ton. In fact, it felt so good. Like, within moments of meditating, which I like to do like this, just breathing deeply in and out, letting my body kind of move a little bit, I felt unbelievably good. Like, my brain came back to that place of like just pure, I don't know, Zen goodness, like a really, really good state where you feel balanced. And I could feel some tenseness in my body and my muscles in certain places. So all I did was just massage some of those places. For example, I had some tenseness in my glutes on the back, so I just kind of massaged those with my knuckles and massaged a couple other places on my body to make it feel less tense. And I think I massaged the back of my neck up right at the occipitals, right at the top of where your neck and your head meet, and that all felt really good. And it might have taken maybe 45 minutes or so, but I didn't feel like I wanted to go back to bed. I just felt good. But when I laid back down after that, I felt great. And then into the next day, I woke up, I felt fine, didn't feel weak or anything, didn't even feel like having food because I felt good. But I knew that it was going to be the day to have food, so I wanted to do it the right way. And I also knew I was going to work out, which was a run. So I did my 5K run. 5K run was as good as normal. I did better than the week I had before, which I wasn't fasting on. So it was a good 5K run. When I started it, I think my mind told me it was going to be harder because I was because I hadn't had a lot of food, or well, because I hadn't had any food basically, and it was coming up on 36 hours. But I eventually, like once I was into the run and relaxed, it went normal, and I did good, and I felt fine after too. And I did a couple of other exercises, including pull-ups and dips after, and those felt as good as normal, if not better. So no problem with doing my normal routine after. Now, just to be clear, right before I worked out, I was coming up on 36 hours. I had started the fast at night at about 11. I think I had my last drink, which was a grapefruit juice. And then, so it was about 11 o'clock during the daytime when I had started my exercise, or like a little after that actually, but right before, at about 11 o'clock, is when I broke the fast. And I broke it with apple cider vinegar. And then right after having the apple cider vinegar, I had a small drink of a smoothie, which just had water, chlorella, and bananas. And I did that to spike my insulin sensitivity, but I didn't have the whole smoothie. I only had enough just to spike my insulin sensitivity, because I had learned that when you do that, to spike my insulin, I should say, so that more food is ready to come into your body. And so right after I did that, I had a very small amount of hemp protein powder with pea protein powder and a little bit of soy milk no, actually I didn't have the soy milk till after my workout. So just a little bit of hemp protein powder and pea protein powder to get that protein into my system, to give my body the signal to not catabolize, to know that it has nourishment coming and it doesn't need to feed on itself anymore. And so I gave it those foods, hoping, like I had learned, that that spike from the carbohydrates in the insulin would make it easier for that protein source to get into my cells as well. And so I think that worked well. After my workout, I had my normal stuff, which lately has been like a little bit of protein, and I had some soy milk with it too. And that's for a whole nother video, but that was good. And it had a beneficial effect on me. And then I drank my smoothie shortly after that, which was the rest of the chlorella banana smoothie. And and then later on I had some oatmeal with raisins. But I basically, as I was going into the day, I just ate in a way where I didn't try to gorge myself, because I wanted my body to be able to take things in without feeling like it was overwhelmed with so much stuff right after I ended the fast. And so basically I ate pretty normal for the rest of the day, probably ate a little bit less than normal, but same kinds of things, and just it didn't overdo it. All healthful, good foods. And have to say that I felt good. It was a good experience, and I felt like my muscles felt strong. I felt good in every way possible. And that comes to today, was my second workout since then, which was actually what I call my sprint and weight routine day. And so I lift heavier and I do sprint exercises. And I did fine in those. My sprints were as good as any other day. All of my other exercises were good. I was able to do as much as my personal best weights on everything else that I did. The only thing that I came up shorter in was my overhead press. My overhead press, I couldn't get up my personal best today, and I'm okay with that, but it made me wonder, oh, okay, this could be as a result of actually losing a few kilograms. So I think I lost about 2.5 kilograms. It's still off as of this video. I don't know if it's going to come back, and I'm not worried about it if it's going to come back. I more just want to keep on working on what I'm working on, building the muscle, kind of like trimming down the extra fat, and just feeling good and healthy. That's the whole point. So I hope this information was very helpful to you and that you enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and put links to any kinds of products that I mentioned inside this video so that you can have access to those if you wish to have access to them, and that always helps things very good to continue putting out the kind of content we're putting out. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe if you're not, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching.